What is going on, guys? If we have not yet met, my name is Peter Roberts, and in today's video we're going to break down how I was a full-time college student going to community college and also a part-time eBay reseller, and how I was able to make my first $10,000 my first year selling on eBay. Not only was this a small but large thing in my mind, it was able to pay for my college debt and tuition, so I was able to get through community college with minimum amounts of payments, and more importantly, I was able to save this money to reinvest to continue to grow my eBay business. And I hope you guys can learn from my story, my failures, and more importantly my successes, because if you're in my shoes and you're trying to make some extra income, if you're in my shoes and you are trying to pay for a few things, maybe you want to go on vacation, maybe you want to just make an extra couple $200 to $300 a week, eBay is a great spot for you. So I'm gonna break it all down. We're not going anywhere, right? And I'll show you guys and just basically break down how I got there and how you can do the same thing. So it all kind of started my freshman year, the end of freshman year of community college leading into my sophomore year of community college. I was finding out that I was a true entrepreneur. I was trying to find other ways to generate income, and I didn't know exactly what the best option was. But I started with the things that I had in my house. I preach this all the time in my other videos, but I started selling things like iPhones, old clothes, and a few things here and there on eBay. And once I really saw that, hey, I can make $100 off an iPhone, I was changing my mentality. I was unsure at first if eBay was a platform even for me or even for consumers. I had no clue that people actually went to eBay to shop. So once I saw that this was a tried and true method, that people were actually going to pay for an item that I have in my possession, and that everything kind of has a value, a principle that is most important that we'll touch on in a little bit, I was able to see that, hey, this could be a profitable business. So with this in mind, I kind of took action right in my own hands. The first things I did after selling a few, maybe I made about $300 to $400 my first couple months on eBay, and I thought this was amazing. I was super pumped. It was kind of winter, and I was like, okay, let's get into this full time. How can I actually grind as a college student? How can I pay my minimum college debt? It was $800. I was like, all right, I'm gonna hit this goal first. So what I did to first get that goal is I had no clue what I'm doing. And if you're at first trying to get started selling on eBay, it's okay if you don't know what you're doing. The internet is there for you. You can learn a lot, but more importantly, I decided to find my niche. And my niche personally was clothes. I'm not a big clothes, I'm not a big brand guy, but I found that there's a lot of opportunity in the thrift stores. And for me, the thrift stores around me, which mistake number one is around me, is to go to Goodwill. Goodwill failed me months and months and months. I realized that everything that I was selling on eBay wasn't making me money because the prices at Goodwill were so marked up that I was actually losing money. So I was starting at a point in my life where I'm trying to generate income from eBay. Yes, my PayPal balance is going up, but the cash that I paid for these items is not equal, because I was unbalanced and I was not sure where to source. So once I realized that it was important to start sourcing things that are going to make me more money, I started finding and locating smaller thrift stores, and then starting hitting local yard sales in the community. So I failed in the thrift store model at first. Goodwill I thought was the best place to be, but it really wasn't. So I started finding these small little thrift shops, and also the mom and pop thrift shops that I'm talking about, and also a few yard sales. In my community there's yard sales every weekend. And then I saw, as the weather got warmer, I was going out on Saturdays and Sundays and then starting to source inventory. But the most pivotal thing that I sold on my eBay store was, when I was just getting started, was something that I picked up for $1. There was two things that kind of changed my mind on how this model works that I realized, and it just popped in my head. The first thing was the Scotty Cameron putter head. So I was going to this local church thrift shop, and everything that you pay them goes to their donations. It's like a thrift store in a church, so they're using it for construction and stuff like this. So I'd stop there every day after class, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays after class, and I would find incredible things. This thing was a gold mine, and more importantly, the costs were extremely low. Once I realized that I can find things at a minimal cost, there were some hot items. The first item, like I said, was a Scotty Cameron putter head little cover, and I picked it up for $1, and I looked it up on eBay and it sold for $119. And I remember I was like, okay, this is something serious. And then a few days later come by, I pick up a box. It was a box with Star Wars stuff, all this stuff. I had it in my room, and I'm going through it. The lady gave me a great deal. I pull out this 4-inch leprechaun. It's a bendable leprechaun, and in that box I paid $20, remember, and I sold it for $322 on eBay the next week. Once I realized that this item is like actually going to sell for $300. I said there has to be more ways to make money. So I was bobbling around. I didn't know where to exactly land, but I knew that the money that I had from these few solid purchases are going to be able to be dispersed into other options. So I had this money sitting there. I'm slowly paying for my things, and I'm like, all right, this is time to switch. And then if you're in this moment right now in your eBay store, you don't know how to start becoming profitable, I'm sorry, COVID-19 is right here because you can't use this. So I was like, okay, now it's time for me to scale. How can I turn a few $100s? I'd say after 3 months, I probably made $2,000 to $3,000 just from going to that one yard sale and also that one small mom and pop thrift store. That thing was a killer for me, and I continue to go there now because it is kind of a secret gem. I was selling cameras for $1. I was picking up for $1, selling for $90. I was finding incredible stuff there. And then also the clothes there were also great. The brands that I was finding were insane. And that's when I knew that there was actually money in clothing. So I wanted to switch my mentality. I wanted to change my niche. More importantly, wanted to see where the supply was. So I had to take a step back, and then I went to places where I could find these clothes that are selling in this small mom and pop thrift that I can find at bulk and then sell them on my eBay store. So what did I do? I went on Google Maps and I found the local thrift stores other than Goodwill. Goodwill, I probably won't go there anymore in my life. For me, it's just not the place. Like, I'll go on and on. But I went to Salvation Army, I went to Value Villages, and I went to small mom and pop thrift stores around my area, and this is where it kind of was able to scale. I was spending about $20 to $150 in some of the thrift stores, and I was coming back with all this inventory. Soon enough, this inventory was piling in my house, and then I had 100, 200 listings at one time, and it was the best feeling ever because I knew the things that I were buying were going to be selling pretty fast. So what I would do is I'd go to the thrift stores, like very common reselling strategy, and I would look up the comps. I didn't know how comps work, and I just said, let me find it out. Go on Google, find the eBay sources, and then I was searching the comps. I was finding brands like Patagonia, Lululemon. My first Lululemon jacket was insane. I picked up for $7 at a Value Village, sold it for $110. Lululemon, Vineyard Vines, North Face, and men's clothing kind of consumed me and something that I fell in love with. So I was continuing to hit these thrift stores. I wish I was documenting the journey back then, but then I was making $200, $300, $400 in sales a week, and then I knew that this is something different. So I stuck with that motto. I stuck with the hitting the thrifts, buying clothes, and then reselling them on eBay. And all I did is I found simpler ways to do it, and everything that I made for my eBay business was being saved and redeployed into more inventory. And that's when I was able to build a stockpile of solid inventory that we're selling consistently. I understood how the eBay algorithm worked, and I knew that customers were wanting the items that I had in my house. So I then understand the principles of value. Everything that you go into the thrift had value. So when I was spending time going into looking for a few brands that I love to resell, I was finding cameras, I was finding miscellaneous items, and I was just adding to my cart. As I continued to scale and as I continued to go to the thrift, countless times, many of hours learning the thrift, I was finding and sourcing my knowledge to other aspects and departments. So I can walk into basically any thrift store right now, I'd say, and find 5 to 10 items that are gonna make me money in the thrift. But at first, I was only able to maybe locate 1 to 2 items. But it's all about the experience. It's all about learning to educate yourself on certain brands and always understand that everything has a value. So by the end of my sophomore year, I looked at my eBay store and I made over $10,000 in sales just off this strategy. This simple strategy would allow me to buy certain items at a low and then sell them. I was having solid offers. My pictures were getting great, and I was able to negotiate with buyers. I was sending buyers offers at night. When I went to bed, I was waking up to sales every day. I bought myself a thermal printer, and then from there I continued to do this method. Unfortunately, with the way things are now, the thrift stores are closed, which has kind of slowed my eBay business down, but I was able to generate a second source of income. I was in college. I was spending minimum amount of time in here, and I was just enjoying the heck out of it. It was so fun for me to go to the thrift, treasure hunt, find these things, flip things, and then see that I was able to build a mini small business that supported me in college and allowed me to both get my education and also pay for my things that I needed. So I was super stoked, and I believe this method is a $1 million method for someone who has the time to put in. These thrift stores continue to be loaded. I am now at a university where I was surrounded by a low income area which had multiple thrift stores, which was basically a gold mine for me. So I would spend a lot of time sourcing and then finding that there was so much more inventory in these thrift stores. So what you do is you start small, you continue to search, you expand your knowledge, focus on the books, your industry, your niche, what you're going for, educate yourself, and then expand. I was going to women's clothing, I was going to men's clothing, I was going into toys, I was going into tech, all that stuff, all from just entering the thrift, really submersing myself, and then going out buying as much as I can. And I remember that the more I spend, the more I'm gonna make. I have found some incredible things over the thrift, and I believe that people are gonna continue to throw away trash, and this model is gonna be everlasting, all because people don't want to list things. People don't care about the value of certain things, and there's truly gems in the thrift. I can go on and on about the insane things that I found, and then I was finding items that are selling for $100, $200, $300, and that's what kind of changed my perspective on eBay and the reselling model. People can go into a thrift store for 30 minutes and find a jacket for $300. People can go into a thrift store, find a piece of tech for $200. It's all about what you're looking for, and if you're not making great money, if you're not happy with your job, this may be an opportunity for you to branch off once the thrift store is open, to see how you can actually start making money in the thrift. So I hope this gives you a little bit of encouragement. I hope you kind of understood the story and kind of the model of what I'm doing and deploying. And of course, once the thrift stores open up, there's gonna be a lot more content coming with you guys, showing you guys exactly what I do, because this is something I love. And I hope as I continue through my college journey and continue to support myself in college, that this is gonna be a way to pay for my books, pay for my food, pay for my everything that's associated with my college expenses. I want to graduate college with zero debt, all because of eBay, and it's looking great right now. So I'm gonna keep you guys tuned in on my journey and my story. And if you guys have questions, feel free to hit me up on any platform, eBay, not eBay, Instagram, TikTok. I will link that all in the description. And before you guys leave this, make sure you subscribe. Thanks for tuning in. I love you guys. Keep hustling, and I hope everyone is doing well through these scary and also fearful times in our society. Have a great rest of your night. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.